What's up, YouTube? My name is Kenny J, and this is KennyJTV. As you can tell by the title of the video, this is another how to pass the insurance state exam, what I did on the day of the exam to ensure that I was successful. So, of course, as you know, the day of the exam is a very stressful day. You're stressed out, you have a lot of anxiety because you want to pass the test. You put in all these hours of studying and reviewing, and you want to make sure that you walk out of the testing center with a smile. As you know, and as I always say, less than 50% of insurance agents pass the first time, but that doesn't make you any less of an agent if you pass the second, third, or even the fourth time. When I was taking my exams, I had to take some of them many times, 2 or 3 times, because I just was getting tripped up on some of the questions. So don't beat yourself up if you do not pass the insurance state exam the first time. The first tip I would have for the day of the insurance state exam is to get a good breakfast. There's nothing like taking an exam and your stomach is growling louder than your thoughts. You can't hear yourself think, and you're just like, what in the world? I should have gotten something to eat. What I would recommend is waking up, cooking some breakfast, or leaving a little early and stopping by your favorite breakfast spot to get a bite to eat, because breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and you want to make sure that none of your attention is going towards you being hungry or thinking, what am I going to eat once I get out of this exam? Tip number 2 is wake up with plenty of time to spare. You never want to be late for the insurance state exam. I know at some sites they will cancel or reschedule you because they are booked up, especially in the times that we are in now with the pandemic. They are very limited on slots. So you want to make sure you get up early. You don't want to feel rushed, and you want to be able to take your time. When I took my exam, I woke up 3 to 4 hours earlier than my scheduled time, just so I had time to relax, I had time to meditate, I had time to eat breakfast and just take my time. We all have those days where we may wake up a little late for work and you're rushing and everything is just not going right. So that is not the type of feeling or the type of day you want to have when you are about to take the exam. Tip number 3 is more opinionated, but it has worked for me every time, is schedule the exam in the morning. So I'm not a morning person, I'm far from it. I believe I never will be a morning person, but scheduling that test in the morning gave me time to wake up, just meditate, as I said, and get my thoughts together. And also, I wanted to get the exam out of the way. I know that if I scheduled it for 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., I would get up early and then I would be anxious the whole day waiting for the exam. So the first thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning is prepare for the exam by eating breakfast, by just thinking of happy thoughts. That's the one thing I would say, is don't think about what if I don't pass, because you're going to stress yourself out more than what you really need to. Tip number 5 is get to the site a little early and review just a small sheet of paper. So what I did, I had a cram sheet that I put the most important things that I may have had a little trouble remembering or understanding the concept, and I got to the site 15 minutes early and just reviewed that. So that was the last thing that I looked at before I went into the exam. Some people say don't look at anything insurance the day of the exam, but I know how I am, and when I get into the site, I'm like, what does that mean? Or what, you know, and then I start tripping myself up. So I wanted to just be refreshed on the topics that I wasn't as strong on, so as soon as I got into the exam, I could either write down the concept or write down the facts. So it was the first thing on my mind. One thing I didn't want to do was look over something and say, yeah, I'm going to come back to it, and never come back. And then the day of the exam, while I'm taking the exam, the question pops up and I have no idea what it is, because I remember that concept, but I never went back to actually study it. Tip number 6 when you get to the site is definitely leave everything in the car. They may have lockers, they may not, but there's no reason for you to take your phone, your study material, or anything like that into the exam. For my site, I had to bring 2 forms of ID. I believe it's the same everywhere, but don't quote me. So I brought my license and I brought my passport. And then if I didn't have my passport, I had my social security card. So make sure that you have those 2 forms of ID, and you are allowed to store that in the lockers. So I would say bring a wallet or a small purse that would be able to fit into a locker, because you don't want your IDs just hanging out loosely, because they can easily get misplaced. And once you get there, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get you signed in, get you to sign all the information, and then you have to wait a little bit, because a lot of times the testing centers are at maximum capacity in the actual testing rooms. So you have to wait until someone's done and they have to go in there and key the codes in on your computer. So keep that in mind when you do get to the site, that you're not gonna walk right in and take the exam. Even I actually took one of my exams on Independence Day. For whatever reason, they were open. It was 2 people in the testing center, and I still had to wait about 10 to 15 minutes just to get me signed in and get the computer logged in and all of that. So just keep that in mind, because you don't want to get there and just be running wild in your thoughts, like what if I mess up or anything like that. So just take it easy, take your time on that day. Don't rush with anything throughout the day. If you're rushing with breakfast, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna rush to get there. You're gonna be rushing, like, why am I not taking my exam yet? So just take everything easy. You got it. I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it as well. The last tip I have for you is just breathe, relax, and don't second guess yourself. The first answer that you choose, 9 times out of 10, is the correct answer. The insurance exam is meant to trip you up. It's meant to confuse you. So they are gonna have answers that are very similar to the correct answer. And a lot of times it will trip you up. I know for me personally, when I was taking my exam, it tripped me up as well. I started second guessing myself. One of the exams I didn't pass on, I failed by, I believe, 1 or 2 questions. And those few questions that I missed, I knew exactly what questions they were, because I got tripped up because I changed my answer. So never change your answer unless you are 110% sure that the second option is the correct answer. You got it. I know you can do it. And as I always say, if I can do it, you can do it as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to KennyJTV. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell for my latest notification. If you want to reach out to me personally, my email and my Instagram will be listed in the bio below, as well as my agency information. If you want to reach out to me for any insurance needs, I'm here for you as the insurance guru. If you have any content insurance related that you would like to see on my channel, comment below and let me know, and I will try my best to execute it the best way that I know how. Again, my name is Kenny J, the insurance guru, and this is KennyJTV.